Hello and welcome to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be taking you through all the transitions my hair has gone through in the past 10 years. And let me tell y'all, my hair has been through a lot. So let's go ahead and get started. We start this journey in early 2010 with this cute little picture of 14-year-old me about to go to my first ever dance. This is my natural hair color before ever doing anything to it. It's a very dark brown, almost black shade. It's now August and suddenly I have bangs. I'm not sure when that happened. I don't have any pictures of when just the bangs happened, but anyways. I finally got my mom to let me throw an entire Revlon box dye on my hair after a few sessions of putting hydrogen peroxide on my bangs, sitting in the hot sun, and getting very mediocre results. By January of 2011, my mom finally gave in and let me bleach a chunk of my bangs. I still remember going into Sally's that day and buying the Beyond the Zone Radical Bleach Kit. If only she knew then the path I was going to go down from there. Now, by this time, I was obsessed with scene and emo hair, so of course I bought a hair razor and gave myself some choppy scene layers. This was also my first attempt at teasing up my hair. It's now March and my mom wouldn't let me go to the extreme of using hair dye, and I wanted pink hair so bad, so what do you think I used here? Any guesses? Yep, Kool-Aid. Plus, the school I went to didn't allow unnatural hair color, so I needed something that would wash out easily. By May, I decided having brown hair wasn't seen enough, so I dyed the majority of my hair jet black. Also, I gave myself a few blonde streaks in the nape of my hair. By July, I was ready to dive head first into another round of bleaching, this time bleaching all the hair that framed my face. The blonde was so uneven because I didn't have any idea what I was doing yet. Also, note my pathetic excuse for a bow and my scene hair volume in full effect. At this point, I was allowed to do pretty much anything I wanted to my hair, so I got my little pink streak in my bangs back. Also at the time, I did a lot of that whole straighten your bangs, leave the rest of your hair natural kind of look, and it was awful looking back at it now. Now this. This is where things start to get a little out of hand. I thought it would be so cute to shape my scene hair into a heart because why not? By mid-August, I had gotten my blonde a lot more even, and honestly, this is still such a look to me. Those iconic Kanye West shutter shades. Later that month, I decided to finally take the plunge and dye all of my blonde hair fully pink. By September, I decided I wanted to chop off half of the mass of my hair so I can get that full scene effect with the stringy bits underneath. Also, I decided I wanted straight across bangs again, but that didn't last very long. I let my bangs grow out for a bit, let my pink fade out, and added some tiny black pieces to frame my face, like Audrey Kitching had it at the time, because of course I would. Also, note the iconic pink bow headband. It's now December and I decided to go pink again and to cut my bangs super short, probably due to all the breakage I was having in that area. The year is now 2012 and I guess I decided I wanted to have a massive comb over as my birthday hairstyle, because why not, I guess. I hate this so much. Also, can you tell by now how much I loved hair accessories? By the end of January, I decided that I might as well take advantage of all my breakage and give myself the choppiest scene bangs you've probably ever seen. And to be honest, I'll probably never live up to looking this fabulous ever again. After that, I decided to bleach myself some blonde streaks again because having two colors in my hair was clearly not enough for me. By March, I decided that I wanted brown hair back again in my life. Notice how fried that chunk of blonde hair is on the left side. Here's another picture from April where my hair looks slightly better because the filters are covering up how orange it actually is. By the end of the month, I decided that I wanted to look even worse with this catastrophe. I had bleached my entire hair again, which is why my bangs are looking extra crispy. Also, I had another pink moment that didn't last very long. Then in May, I decided I wanted the straightest bangs in history. Honestly, I'm kinda impressed with the haircutting skills I had already at 16. Then I gave myself a hot pink underbang that was very scene-esque, but keep in mind scene hair was pretty much a dying fad at this point. Later that month, I went full pink again because pink was the only color I knew existed apparently. The pink faded out to this decently even warm blonde shade. Then I decided I wanted the whitest, ashiest hair possible and purple shampooed the crap out of my hair, and gave myself this Keely from Phil of the Future inspired hairstyle. By July, I decided that I missed pink hair, so I gave myself some pink dip dye color. In September, I got my first ever set of hair extensions from eBay because my hair had broken off so much and it looked so horrible without them. Then I went on pink again one more time, but this time I went for a pastel pink, or as pastel as a brassy, uneven blonde can get. This was my hair in November after deciding to give my hair a break for a while, as you can see by my grown out roots. You can really grasp from this photo how broken my actual hair is, and how horribly unblended my cheap eBay extensions are. So this is where I really messed up. I decided it was time for a big chop to just get rid of all the nasty hair, and I went into a salon with the intentions of getting a short, sassy bob, but I let the hairstylist convince me to go for this look instead. This is probably my biggest hair regret to date because I hated how the pixie cut looked on me so much. Then I dyed my hair jet black and styled it in pompadours for a while. Then I bleached the front part of it this hideous shade of blonde. I eventually got it to be a platinum blonde that was actually pretty cute. I didn't touch my hair for a couple months after that and just let the pixie cut grow out. By July, it had already grown out to a nice bob length. It's now September and I went for this brassy orange ombre kind of look. Here it is in November after letting it grow out for a little bit. By December, I dyed the bleached parts of my hair red and kept it like that for a couple months. It's now March of 2014 and my hair had grown out pretty significantly. Then I went back red again for a bit. Then I lightened my hair to this brown to blonde ombre for my high school graduation in June. Then I decided to get rid of the ombre and went full brown for a bit. Then I decided that I missed my blonde ombre, so I bought my first ever set of legit hair extensions from VP Fashion. I dyed the blonde parts of my extensions that minty green color that was so trendy at the time. It's now February of 2015 and I decided it was time to start frying my hair again by bleaching out all my hair to this medium blonde shade. 2 months later and I dyed all this patchy mint green shade. I let the minty green fade out and I stayed blonde for a bit after that. By the end of May, I decided to dye my hair again and went for this pretty lavender shade. I let the lavender fade out to this nice silvery shade that everyone wanted back then in 2015. After the silver was gone, I went for this warm pastel pinky shade. Once that faded out, I went back blonde for a bit and decided to continue growing out my roots. It's now November and I went for this pretty blue to silver ombre. Then I went this cute blue-green shade for a bit. By December, I decided to color my hair jet black because my roots were growing out so long, but I didn't want to bleach them because my hair was significantly damaged. Also, this is when I got my first set of Luxury for Princess hair extensions. It's now March of 2016 and I was missing color already, so I got these cheap blonde hair extensions from eBay and wore them into my hair as highlights. Soon after getting those extensions, I dyed them lavender. In May, I faded out the lavender color with dandruff shampoo and then I dyed them mint green. I tend to get bored of jet black hair easily, so by July, I decided to give myself and my Luxury for Princess extensions this black to brown ombre. Then in September, I lightened up the top of my hair to match the ends so it was a cohesive brown. It's now November and I missed color a lot, so I bleached my hair out to a medium blonde and dyed it this pretty emerald green shade. My ends became gummy from the bleaching, so I had to give myself a lob. But I only kept the green for a week or two because I had taken some time off work and was about to return and I wasn't sure how they'd react to such a bold color, so I faded it out aggressively with dandruff shampoo and dyed it this deep violet shade. In December is when I started my split dye phase. I started off with this black and deep burgundy red combo. It's now February of 2017 and I gradually brightened the burgundy to my gold shade of red so I could have my hair like my queen Ash Costello at the time. By April, I was ready for a change and went for this half deep violet, half black combo. I kept that shade of purple until October, when I decided to go for this more true purple shade. It's now February of 2018, and I went back to my favorite cool tone violet shade. This picture was taken before my first day of cosmetology school, which was pretty exciting for me. The next month, I went half emerald green, half black, and this was probably one of my favorite looks ever. But then after this is where things got a little bit carried away. I decided to give myself some Betty bangs, but didn't want to make them too thick, so I ended up with slightly long micro bangs pretty much. By June, I finally got bored of the split dye hair and decided to bleach the black side of my hair and try to get it to match the other side, but it was a disaster. I went to a salon to get my hair cut into an A-line bob, and then I dyed it with sporadic streaks of blue, green, and purple. And I had this vision of how beautiful it was gonna be, but it turned out so horrid. Especially because I dyed over my half faded green, half brassy blonde hair. I decided I didn't like the A-line cut, so I cut it myself into a straighter bob. Also, I dyed over the multicolored mess with blue, which was the most common base color of all the hair in order to even it out as much as possible, and it actually turned out kind of pretty. I let that fade out into this ashy muted green shade and decided that the short bangs worked for me, so this is when I started clipping them back out of my face. Later in July, I went this pretty ashy purple and blue color and got some new extensions and dyed those to match. It's now August and I let the ashy purple blue fade out into this gray color that I was really into, so I decided to keep it for a while. I mixed up a whole bunch of dyes to get this perfect silver shade, and I wish I kept it longer because it was so pretty. Then I dyed over that silvery base pink and ended up with this beautiful ashy pink mauve shade that was pretty trendy at the time. When I retouched my color later that month, I made the color way too vibrant and it turned out this super bright hot pink shade that was not at all what I was going for. Over the next month, I let the pink fade out to this pretty pastel pinky mauve shade. In November, I decided to add some black lowlights into my extensions because I was inspired by the way Christina Aguilera had it in the 2000s at some point. I was becoming obsessed with forest green hair, so I dyed my hair as soon as I got home from a family Thanksgiving trip. I kept my hair like this for a while, and by February of 2019, my roots had grown out pretty significantly. I couldn't decide if I should just rebleach my roots or if I should blend the colors out with highlights, and unfortunately, I went with the latter. I had just done highlights at school for the first time, so I thought I knew what I was doing, but apparently not because they came out awful. I dyed over all my roots with a light brown permanent color because I was kind of into brown hair at the time, but I hated the way it turned out on me. So then I dyed my roots back to my natural hair color pretty successfully. In May, I decided to shake things up again and dyed the back half of my hair black, and I bleached and colored all my roots in the front section, keeping the front green. I kept that look for a couple months, then dyed the front a violet indigo shade in September. Over time, I went more and more towards a grapey purple, then kept my hair the same for a really long time into 2020. When the whole quarantine thing started in March, I decided to give my hair a break and lay off the bleaching of my roots for a couple of months. Then in July, I decided that I wanted to make my bleach section smaller by coloring the side panels back to my natural black hair color, so that the bleach portion would lay on top of the black so it looks more cohesive, not so disconnected. In August, I bleached my roots and made my first attempt at the green, blue, and purple ombre in the front that I have now. At this time, my hair still had faded purple underneath, so the blue transition color in between wasn't showing up like I wanted it to. Last but not least, here's how my hair currently looks. I corrected it to the colors I wanted by fading them out gradually and retouching them over time. So yeah, that was my hair timeline from 2010 to now in November of 2020. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Also, you can follow me on my Instagram account at NUMETALPRINCESS. See you in the next one. Bye!